Conquest of Azeroth Solo Leveling Guide 1-60 Plus, Fastest Way to Level Solo. What's going on, everyone? And welcome back. If you're starting fresh in Project Ascension, Conquest of Azeroth, you've probably asked yourself one simple question. What's the fastest way to level without relying on other players? Whether you're completely new to Conquest of Azeroth or rolling another character, leveling efficiently can save you hours of unnecessary grinding. The difference between a smooth leveling experience and a frustrating one usually isn't your skill. It's knowing where to go, what to prioritize, which mistakes to avoid, and how to build your character from the very beginning. Today I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about solo leveling. We'll cover the best classes for leveling, how to choose your talents, which quests are worth doing, when you should run dungeons, how to upgrade your gear, the biggest mistakes new players make, and plenty of small tips that can easily save you several hours on your journey to max level. Whether your goal is raiding, mythic dungeons, PvP, or simply experiencing everything Conquest of Azeroth has to offer, this guide will help you get there much faster. Let's jump right into it. Part 1. Choosing the right class. Before you even accept your first quest, your leveling experience is already being shaped by one important decision: your class. Now, here's something I always tell new players. Don't just pick the class that's ranked highest on a tier list. Instead, pick a class that matches the way you enjoy playing. That said, some classes are naturally much faster at leveling because they combine strong damage, good survivability, and very little downtime. For example, classes with reliable self-healing can continue fighting almost non-stop without needing to stop and recover. Pet-based classes have another huge advantage because their summons can tank enemies while you safely deal damage from a distance. Highly mobile classes also level faster simply because they spend less time traveling between objectives. When you're completing hundreds of quests, saving just a few seconds on each objective quickly adds up. Another thing to think about is your long-term goal. If you eventually want to raid as a healer or tank, leveling with a damage-focused build is usually much faster, and you can switch roles once you've reached max level. Many new players make the mistake of leveling in a support specialization simply because that's the role they want to play later. In most cases, you'll reach the endgame much faster by focusing on efficient damage while leveling. So before you begin, spend a few minutes researching your class. Understanding your strengths early will make the rest of your journey much smoother. Part 2. Your first talent choices. One mistake almost every new player makes is choosing talents without a plan. It's easy to see a flashy ability and immediately unlock it because it looks fun. But efficient leveling isn't about flashy abilities. It's about consistency. When selecting talents, prioritize anything that improves your sustained damage, reduces downtime, increases movement speed, or helps you defeat multiple enemies at once. Anything that lets you keep moving without stopping is usually a great investment. Defensive talents are also more valuable than many players realize. Staying alive is always faster than dying. Every death costs time. Not only do you lose durability on your gear, but you also spend valuable minutes running back to your corpse. Another thing to keep in mind is resource management. Talents that improve mana regeneration, reduce energy costs, or increase resource generation often outperform talents that simply add a little more burst damage. The goal while leveling isn't to top damage meters. The goal is to maintain a steady pace with as little downtime as possible. As you unlock more talents, continue asking yourself one simple question. Does this help me kill enemies faster or keep moving longer? If the answer is yes, it's probably worth taking. Perfect. Let's continue with the middle section of the script. This is where we cover the actual leveling strategy that will save the most time. Part 3. The fastest questing strategy. Focus on quest density, not zone completion. One of the biggest mistakes solo players make is trying to complete every quest in a zone before moving on. That sounds efficient, but it usually isn't. The fastest leveling route is based on quest density. You want areas where multiple objectives are close together, where enemies are easy to reach, and where you can complete several quests during the same trip. Instead of running across the entire map for one objective, try to stack quests together. If 3 quests require killing enemies in the same area, complete them all before returning. If a quest sends you far away for very little experience, consider skipping it. Another important rule is to avoid unnecessary travel. Travel time is one of the biggest hidden time losses while leveling. Whenever possible, accept every quest in the hub before leaving. Complete nearby objectives in a loop. Turn in multiple quests at the same time. Set your Hearthstone in the area you're currently working on. Use flight paths as soon as they become available. A good solo leveling route should feel like a smooth circle. You leave the hub, complete several objectives, and return with a full quest log ready to turn in. If you find yourself running back and forth repeatedly, something in your route is probably inefficient. Pull multiple enemies when safe. Another huge speed increase comes from learning how many enemies your class can safely handle. Many new players pull one enemy at a time because it feels safer. But if your class has good survivability, self-healing, or AoE damage, pulling multiple enemies is often much faster. The key word is safe. Don't pull 5 enemies just because you can. Pull enough enemies that you're maximizing your damage without risking a death. A good rule of thumb is, start with 1 or 2 enemies. If the fight feels easy, increase to 3. If you still have plenty of health and resources, increase again. If you almost die, reduce the pull size. The goal is to find the sweet spot where you're killing enemies quickly while keeping downtime low. Part 4. When should you run dungeons? Dungeons are useful, but don't spam them blindly. A lot of players assume that dungeon spamming is always the fastest leveling method. In reality, it depends on your situation. Dungeons are worth doing when you have several dungeon quests available. The queue is short. The dungeon provides strong gear upgrades. You're leveling with friends or a coordinated group. Dungeons are usually not worth doing when you spend a long time waiting for a group. The dungeon has no quests. The group is inexperienced and keeps wiping. You could be completing high-density quests during the same time. For most solo players, I recommend using dungeons as a supplement, not the main leveling method. Run a dungeon when it gives good rewards, then return to questing. This keeps your gear updated without sacrificing too much leveling speed. Use dungeons strategically. The best time to run a dungeon is when it gives multiple benefits at once. For example, you complete several dungeon quests. You gain a large chunk of experience. You receive useful gear upgrades. You break up the monotony of questing. That's a great value. But if you're only running the dungeon for experience and the queue takes longer than the run itself, questing is usually the better option. Part 5. Gear upgrades while leveling. Don't chase perfect gear. While leveling, your gear only needs to be good enough to keep your pace smooth. You do not need perfect stats. You do not need every slot optimized. You do not need to spend large amounts of gold on auction house gear. Focus on replacing pieces that are clearly outdated. If a weapon upgrade significantly increases your damage, take it. If a piece improves survivability and reduces downtime, take it. But don't waste time farming a perfect item while leveling. You'll replace most of your gear again before reaching max level. The most important upgrade while leveling is usually your weapon. A strong weapon increases your kill speed, which affects almost every minute of your leveling journey. Armor upgrades are useful too, but weapon upgrades often provide the biggest noticeable improvement. Part 6. Best professions for solo leveling. Gathering professions are usually best. For most solo players, I recommend taking gathering professions while leveling. Mining and herbalism are usually the strongest combination because they provide extra experience and valuable materials. The beauty of gathering professions is that they fit naturally into your leveling route. You don't need to stop and grind them separately. You simply collect resources while traveling between quests. This gives you extra experience, extra gold, materials you can sell later. A useful profession foundation for Endgame. Crafting professions can be useful later, but they often require more time and gold while leveling. If your goal is reaching max level as efficiently as possible, gathering professions are usually the better choice. Don't ignore gathering nodes. If a mining node or herb is only a few steps away from your path, collect it. But don't run across the entire zone just for one node. The rule is simple. Take convenient resources. Skip inconvenient ones. That keeps your leveling route efficient while still giving you extra value. Part 7. The biggest solo leveling mistakes. Mistake number 1. Completing every quest. Not every quest is worth doing. If a quest takes too long, requires excessive travel, or gives very little experience, skip it. Efficient leveling is about choosing the best objectives, not completing everything. Mistake number 2, fighting enemies that are too difficult. If a fight takes too long or forces you to stop and recover afterward, it's probably slowing you down. Fight enemies you can kill quickly and consistently. Mistake number 3, forgetting to upgrade your weapon. An outdated weapon can dramatically slow your kill speed. Check for weapon upgrades regularly, especially after dungeon runs. Mistake number 4, spending too much gold. Save your gold while leveling. Avoid buying expensive gear unless it provides a major upgrade. You'll need that gold later for endgame preparation. Mistake number 5, dying repeatedly. A single death can cost several minutes. Repeated deaths can cost an hour or more over the course of leveling. Play aggressively, but not recklessly. So now we've covered the fastest questing strategy, when to run dungeons, how to manage gear, and the biggest mistakes to avoid. In the final section, we'll go over the small XP optimization tricks that save hours, the ideal solo leveling routine, and the complete checklist I would follow on a fresh character from level 1 all the way to max level. Part 8. XP Optimization Tricks. Now let's talk about the little things that don't seem important individually, but can save you hours over the course of your leveling journey. The first trick is to always think one step ahead. Don't wait until you've finished your current quest hub before deciding where to go next. As you're completing your objectives, already be planning your next destination. That keeps your momentum going and reduces unnecessary downtime. Another tip is to organize your inventory regularly. Many players waste time because their bags become full at the worst possible moment. Instead of making multiple trips back to town, sell junk items whenever you're near a vendor and keep enough free space for quest rewards and valuable loot. It's a small habit, but over dozens of hours of leveling, it adds up. Next, always keep your character prepared. Repair your gear whenever you're in town. Restock any consumables you use. Empty your bags. Learn new abilities as soon as they become available. The less time you spend fixing problems later, the faster you'll continue progressing. Another huge optimization is reducing unnecessary combat. Not every enemy needs to die. If a group of monsters isn't part of your objective and can easily be avoided, simply run past them. Every fight should have a purpose. Finally, don't underestimate movement speed. Anything that increases your mobility, even by a small amount, can have a massive impact over hundreds of quests. Movement abilities, travel skills, and smart pathing often save more time than players realize. Part 9. The ideal solo leveling routine. If I were creating a brand new character today, this is exactly how I would approach the leveling process. First, I'd choose a class with strong solo potential. Something that combines good damage with survivability and very little downtime. Next, I'd focus almost entirely on questing. Questing remains one of the most consistent ways to gain experience while also unlocking gear, reputation, and useful rewards. Whenever I arrive in a new hub, I'd pick up every available quest before leaving. Then I'd complete as many objectives as possible in a single route instead of constantly returning to town. If a dungeon becomes available and offers several quests or meaningful upgrades, I'd complete it once before returning to questing. Throughout the journey, I'd collect nearby herbs and mining nodes without going out of my way. Those resources provide additional experience and valuable gold while barely slowing down my leveling speed. I'd replace outdated gear whenever a meaningful upgrade appears, especially weapons. There's no need to chase perfect equipment while leveling. Efficiency matters far more than optimization. Most importantly, I'd avoid dying. Every unnecessary death costs valuable time. Playing slightly safer often results in reaching max level much faster overall. Part 10. Your solo leveling checklist. Let's put everything together into one simple checklist. Whenever you create a new character, try to follow these principles. Heavy checkmark, choose a class with strong solo capabilities. Heavy checkmark, focus on sustained damage instead of flashy burst. Heavy checkmark, prioritize movement speed whenever possible. Heavy checkmark, stack multiple quests before leaving town. Heavy checkmark, complete objectives in efficient loops. Heavy checkmark, skip quests with excessive travel or poor rewards. Heavy checkmark, pull multiple enemies only if your class can safely handle them. Heavy checkmark, keep your weapon upgraded. Heavy checkmark, run dungeons when they provide valuable quests or gear, not just for the sake of running them. Heavy checkmark, take gathering professions for extra experience and gold. Heavy checkmark, keep your inventory clean and repair your gear regularly. Heavy checkmark, learn new abilities as soon as they're available. Heavy checkmark, minimize unnecessary travel. Heavy checkmark, don't waste gold on temporary upgrades. Heavy checkmark, stay alive. If you consistently follow these habits, you'll notice a huge improvement in both your leveling speed and your overall experience. The goal isn't to rush blindly to max level. It's to level efficiently while still enjoying everything Conquest of Azeroth has to offer. Final thoughts. Leveling in Conquest of Azeroth isn't just the journey to the endgame. It's your opportunity to learn your class, understand your abilities, explore the world, and build good habits that will continue helping you long after you reach max level. Many players become frustrated because they compare themselves to speedrunners or highly experienced veterans. Don't worry about that. Focus on improving your own route every time you level a new character. Maybe today you learn a better quest path. Tomorrow you improve your talent choices. The next day you discover a faster farming route. Those small improvements add up, and before you know it, you'll be leveling much faster than you ever thought possible. Remember, the fastest player isn't always the one with the strongest class. It's usually the player who wastes the least amount of time. Smart routing, efficient questing, good decision-making. Those are the things that separate experienced players from everyone else. As new updates and patches arrive, the optimal leveling routes may change, but these core principles will always remain valuable. Master them once, and every future character you create will benefit. And that's my complete solo leveling guide for Project Ascension, Conquest of Azeroth. If this guide helped you level faster or taught you something new, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Conquest of Azeroth content. I've got class guides, PvE and PvP tier lists, endgame progression guides, gold-making strategies, profession guides, and plenty more coming soon. And now I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite class for solo leveling? And what's the best leveling tip you've discovered while playing Conquest of Azeroth? Share it down in the comments. Your advice might help another player reach max level even faster. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next guide.